little bit different today because I've got an episode to catch up. If we get a single like on this video, Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer. It's not 182, it's 183. So we want to get that updated as soon as possible, but it is a double upload day, which means thanks to hitting our like target, as you saw at the start of the video, we do get to do a second episode today. It's going to help us finish up the week on Friday and get some extra content over the weekend relating to Football Manager 2021. So there's a whole bunch of different exciting stuff going on in the channel. And of course, we do have plenty more to come in the FC Isle of Man series as well. We're still in the early parts of the season. We, of course, earlier this week in the previous episode, started our Champions League group stage campaign. We've got another huge Champions League group game in today's episode, as well as another fixture in the Premier Division itself. We have played a couple of games, some really good performances, some not so great. Let's jump in and see how we've gone. So, first and foremost, in the Premier Division, still sitting just behind Man City in second position, only on goal difference. We're plus 13, they're plus 18, both teams on 16 points, both teams 5 wins and 1 draw from the opening 6 games. So as far as the Premier League is concerned, nothing to really complain about at all. We did win our last game 4-0 as well, following on from that big 9-0 victory in the earlier episode against Red Star Belgrade. We then played the Carabao Cup. Now, we played our backup lineup. We didn't have really any starters starting in this lineup, which is probably a bit ambitious. City played a very strong squad, and in the end, I think that quality told out. They won 2-0, goals on 57 minutes and 68 minutes. So the dream dies of 5 trophies in a season, but we've still got 4 competitions that I think we are still a relatively good chance of trying to win. Premier Division, we're up towards the top of the table. Champions League, we're doing well in our group so far, but there is a lot of football to be played. And the FA Cup starts taking place towards the end of the year. We got 3 trophies last year. If we can get 4 this year, I'll look at that as being progression. If we can get 4 this year, and it's like the Premier Division included in there, if we can get another Champions League title, if we get an FA Cup having won that, how many times have we won that? Twice. I think that will, still be a relatively successful season. Not, essentially what we aimed for at the start of the year, not getting us closer to having that 6 trophy season that we're trying to replicate at the moment, but I would still consider it a success. As far as the squads go, we've only played 2 games, so not too much different. We do welcome back, thankfully, in this game, Esteban and Lucas Gabriel, who both picked up knocks at various points during the off-season, or the early parts of the season. We should be able to, in both fixtures, name, why did I say label? That's just a random thought. Name our strongest possible 11s. That's the hope for both games. And if we can continue a good run of form in the Premier Division, maybe put some more pressure on Manchester City if they drop points, win, lose, or draw, or even maybe we just try and improve our goal difference as much as possible. There's a whole lot that can still change, but we do want to be very much at the top of the table and have everyone chasing us, then the other way around and being reliant on other teams to get good results. In club news, because I don't think I've actually brought you guys up to date, we are close to having completed improvements for our training facilities and youth facilities, which should see us go to state-of-the-art facilities across the board. We've still not had any decent level of regen come through the academy. That would be something that would be great if it could happen between now and the end of the series. We've got probably like another 3.5 weeks left before the release of FM21. That would be great, but again, I'm not holding my breath. But it will be cool to say that we started a club that had no training facilities at all, and we've taken them all the way to state-of-the-art throughout the 21 years or 21 seasons that we've had with the Isle of Man so far. As far as the stadium's concerned, it's still 25,816, not the biggest in the Premier Division by any stretch, but we're not doing too badly. We do consistently get 100% sellouts within each of our games. I'm not sure if away teams like the idea of travelling to the Isle of Man. We've built ourselves up a good support on the island as well. I think it's potentially a matter of time before they start looking at new stadium options, or at least expansion all the way through. We are one of the teams sitting at 100% capacity so far this season, and equal top in terms of sellouts, highest attendances and whatever. We're not anywhere near that. We're down towards, kind of the bottom 4 or 5 teams in the division each year. But maybe that's the next thing that we try and grow. Maybe if we get to a point where we've got finances that are just ridiculous and our squad's still doing effectively well, or they haven't moved some of that available funds into the transfer budget, maybe we go back to them and say, hey, well, can we build a new stadium or something like that? I've never tried that. I've never done it successfully. Maybe that's something else that we can try and tick off before we get to Football Manager 2021. 2 games today. First, before we get stuck into all that though, Everton, who are currently sitting in 7th spot. We have a decent-ish record against Everton. We struggled early doors for them, but lately have just been absolutely pasting them, and I'm hopeful we can get a good result and continue a good start to the season. And then we've got Roma in potentially the biggest game of our Champions League group. They beat Nims from France. Probably butchering the pronunciation there. If I am, let me know in the comment section below. But if we get 3 points against them, potentially we go 3 points clear and hopefully help clarify and finalise our position in the knockout stages, which is one of the aims for this season. We're expected to get to the semi-final. We have to get to the knockout stages and we have to get a good seeding and hopefully a fortunate draw to get to that stage. Looking at the lineups that we're going with Mancini in goal, Esteban and Gasmi as the defensive partnership, Carlos Andre at left wing back, Lucas Gabriel at right wing back, Taylor and Henry as the defensive partnership, Paul Harold on the left wing, Bruno Castro on the right, Martinez and Olsen will continue developing their partnership up front. Olsen now our leading scorer for the season, level with Harold after his exploits against Red Star Belgrade. Furkan Yilmaz is probably the unlucky loser. He was magnificent in that game. We bring Lucas Gabriel back into the fold. It's likely he'll play about an hour, and then we might look to switch him out with Yilmaz to try and continue building up his fitness. Looking at the Everton squad, there is a familiar face that you can see over here on the left-hand side. Vasco Varzeas was with us at the club. That's why he has that face populated. Never really played for us though. We brought him in, and in the end he spent just the one season actually, 600k from Academica over in Portugal. We bought him when he was like 16 and then essentially just waited for him to turn 18. He eventually came across, never made a first team appearance, was never really at the level that we needed him to be. We had the likes of Larry Ortiz, a couple of other players on that left-hand side. We were playing without now Wiggins at this point, mind you. We sent him out on loan to Hanover. He didn't really do much in Hanover, and it looked like he was actually starting to decline a little bit. His last season in Portugal, he got a 6.56 average rating, 6.68. I thought, let's cut our losses. We sold him for £2 million. He's had an okay career since then. Was at Chelsea, which is an interesting one. Never made a first-team appearance for them either, but had consecutive loan spells at Caen, Nancy, and Las Palmas over in Spain. Went to Besiktas. That's where he started to pick up some good runs of form. Had a couple of very good seasons and makes a return to the Premier Division. £10.7 million. Signing last year for Everton, only made the one appearance. I think they actually picked him up in January, but he started this season very, very well. 2 appearances and 4 goals and a 9.15 average rating. The game loves to tell you when a previous player has scored against you, so it would not surprise me if he bobbed up with a goal or 2 today. They do have a couple of other players in there as well. Edwards is going to lead the line, who is a previous England international, 3-star current and 4-star potential ability. No longer around that squad. He was very young when he made these appearances. I think he was like 18, 19. Something like that, and his career hasn't quite kicked on. For a striker playing for a good top half Premier Division side, you'd expect him to have a better goal ratio than 139 appearances and 45. Had loan spellings at Reading and Crewe, but it's always interesting to see different clubs bringing through their own talent. We haven't been able to do it yet, but we do have a lot of ex-players like Varzeas playing amongst the league. Molinar we'll have to keep an eye on. He was an ex-Wonder kid as well. Way back in the day, NAC Brede spent some time in Germany at Burnley with Schalke, who we actually have played previously in the Champions League knockout stages. They were very, very good. I think they've won a couple of division titles in the Bundesliga over the last 4 or 5 years and has been at Everton now for a couple of seasons. He'll be the main creator in this 4-3-3. Jake Selby rings a bell. Was he previously a wonder kid or something? Doesn't look particularly interesting. He might have been either at Norwich or West Brom or whatever else. He's been at Everton now for a few years. It's his first year at Everton. £20.5 million move from Norwich after they were relegated last season. So they've got some ability. They're not horrific, but we should be beating a team like Everton. If we want to finish on top of the division for the 3rd consecutive season, we need to be beating sides in and around the top half, and Everton are definitely in that pile. Though they haven't started the season poorly, 7 games in, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat, as things currently stand. First highlight is Sweldo getting taken off, who I think was one of the 2 players at the base of midfield for Everton. Carlos Andres played the ball to Taylor, who goes for a strike. It's clipped the base of the post, and then somehow Leonardo Renan, the goalkeeper for the Toffees, manages to save right on the line. There is a quick highlight here. Varkavisa with the ball for Everton. They go long forward. Esteban with a good header across to Lucas Gabriel, and a long ball forward for Martinez to chase. Can't find the finish though. Leonardo Renan, again, 2nd time in a row that he's come up with a big save. I think where Sweldo's positioned is that we can't be offside, but it looks like he might have rejoined the fray. Castro cuts it back to Henry. Now Harold. Back to Castro. Backstick ball towards Esteban. He gets 1 bite at it. Taylor gets a 2nd effort. Henri recovers, plays it out to Olsen. He goes for a strike from the edge of the area, but it's closed down well by the defence and out for the throw-in. Good pressure so far, and you can see statistically we're well on top in terms of shots, just not that many on target, which is where we need to convert our chances. Gabriel, throwing on the right-hand side, finds Olsen. Deep ball towards Harold, lurking back stick, but it's cleared away. Molinar comes forward. We spoke about him being the danger man for them through midfield. Esteban with a good challenge on Edwards. It's worked its way to Matthias on the right-hand side, though. Sweldo back on the pitch, still carrying that knock, though. Stanojevic, Selby at the edge of the area, Sweldo again. Two men go to him. We better not overcommit. They've played it out to the right-hand side. Varkavisia has got forward, the right fullback. Ball towards backstick, and Varzeas was there. That might have been the chance for the ex-Isle of Man player to come back and bite the hand that feeds. I never played him. He's probably very, very fired up to try and get a good performance today. Selby, wide free kick towards backstick. Gasby with a good header away. Now Henri comes forward. If we can find a switch ball here, we've got men lining up on the other side. Henri in possession. Actually loses out to Molinar, and then Edwards plays the switch out to Matthias. Molinar comes forward again, gets into the area, wide left, and I think that shot was going wide. Mancini couldn't be sure, though. He pushes it out for the corner kick. This is a little bit of a danger starting to seep through here from Everton, just on these counter-attacks after they recover possession. Square ball there for Edwards straight at Mancini. It was a pretty tame effort, to be fair, and Mancini had his angles well and truly covered. Both keepers, I think, for both sides, been very busy in the opening stages for both teams. Henri in possession here, though, picks it up from the throw-in, looks to switch it across to Taylor, gets it back from him instead. Henri looks to force a ball to the left-hand side that wasn't quite there. Harold recovers. Now he finds the switch towards Carlos Andre. Martinez near post, and again, straight at Leonardo Renan, who does well to get his body right, saves and holds. Highlight may continue here. He's looked to go short to Varkavissa. Now Neuhaus, he seems to be the only player willing to play a forward pass in certain instances. But we've recovered possession in midfield. Esteban, out wide left now to Harold. Has overlapping runs, but cuts inside. Looks for the switch out to Castro, who's got support there with Lucas Gabriel. It was good ball behind for Olsen, and he just drove that shot into the side netting. Deep free kick here, Sweldo to take, and there's a man there in Matthias, but he's going to be ruled offside. He did look offside, to be fair, once that free kick came in, and the referee rightly calls it back. We're going to use the get creative shout, mix it up a little bit with about 10 minutes remaining in the half. Everyone seems inspired, which is good, but if we get a go-ahead goal, it's really going to change the complexion of the game going into the second half. Varkavissa, long ball forward for Everton. Esteban will recover. Plays across to Gasmi, who switches it out well to Castro. We split the ball across the two halves of the pitch very, very quickly, which is good to see. Varzeas, Stanojevic, long one forward. Gasmi with an excellent header, intercepts. Henri sends Olsen down the channel. He's going to want to get it back on his left foot. Leonardo Renan with a good save. Cut back for Castro. Pinballs around, and Olsen gets another chance at it when Renan saves again. The Everton custodian is having a hell of a game here in the first half. Varzeas comes forward, cuts it back for Edwards, and it's a good intervention there by Taylor on the cutback. 2 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half, which we're through now. And as the referee calls half-time, 5 shots, 3 on target, 39% possession for Everton, 17 shots, 7 on target, 61% of the ball for the Isle of Man. I'm going to go and say we can still win this, keep working hard and it'll come. I don't want to panic too much because we're creating a lot of chances. We just haven't found that finish yet. And you've got to have that feeling that, you know, it's only going to take one little change or tweak around the hour mark to hopefully get that goal for us. And just as I'm saying that, we have very quickly gotten to the 60-minute mark. We're going to make some subs. We know that we have to take off Lucas Gabriel because his fitness just isn't there yet. So Furka and Yilmaz will join the phrase. Max Olsen hasn't had the greatest game. We'll bring on Pablo Rivera. And I'm going to hold off on the last sub to the last 10 minutes or so. There's a couple of players that we maybe have the ability to pick from. We're going to bring on these 2 subs. We're going to use Old Faithful, get creative shout after an hour. Usually does the trick inspiring the side. We're going to give everyone an opportunity until about 10 minutes before full time before we look at making another change. As things stand, United would go above us. City would stay top of the division. Long ball forward here, though, from Renan. Chris Edwards is able to bring it down, and he's shut down well by the defence. Mancini recovers the loose ball. Changes. Varzeas has left the pitch, which is comforting for me, unless Osborne's about to score here. He has got possession on the left wing. Just stand him up, boys. Don't do anything silly. Molinar, Stanojevic, Selby, out to Osborne again. Just don't do anything silly, boys. Just stand him up. Selby, Stanojevic, good little passage of play here for Everton. Ball over the top for Edwards. He's miles offside. It's the second goal of the game. We're going to switch to positive for the last 15 just to try and throw something different at Everton. They seem to be pushing on a bit, so maybe we can play a bit deeper, lull them into a false sense, get some more space in behind. And I've also used a demand more shout. We're going to hit pause because I forgot I've got one more sub up on my sleeve. Taylor's not been poor, but I'm going to bring on Santana. Just some fresh legs in midfield might be able to change the game for us. And we have used that demand more shout as well. It would be, with 4 minutes of additional time added on, it would be very frustrating if we don't win this game. And the time has whittled away. So in the end, we had 32 shots, 17 on target, 61% possession. And I know shots aren't everything, but we had so many highlights in the first half in particular. Just really couldn't find the finish. 8 shots, 5 on target, 39% of the ball for Everton. And I'm going to say that, simply put, was not good enough. We need to do better. That's the frustrating point, I guess, is that we were in fantastic form. And then, yes, we lost the Carabao Cup game, but rotating heavily. And then we reload the game, go to record again, and all of a sudden our form has disappeared. It happens way too often in Football Manager. Does see us drop down to 3rd position as well, 2 points behind Manchester City now. They won their game today against Brighton 4-0. Very impressive performance. Manchester United also beating Newcastle 3-2 to jump above us, but we do have a superior goal difference and still remain undefeated. Arnaud Henry gets the Man of the Match award, an 8.1 match rating with 8 key passes. We're going to give him a bit of praise just to keep him happy. We make it 16 unbeaten following that drawed match, which is good. Not too bad. It does extend all the way back into last season in the Premier League, but really we want to get a couple of these like draws that we've had recently. Let's turn those back into wins so that we can continue moving up the table as we need to. I'm not going to panic. We're not going to change too much with the lineup or anything like that. We are going to give everyone a rest day before the game against Roma. We do have to travel from Liverpool all the way across to Rome. So we'll take that additional rest day, get the extra bonus, hopefully have a training session here on the Tuesday as a bit of match preparation. But magic of editing, we're going to jump forward to that match now. So jumping forward a couple of days, an unchanged lineup for us, nothing that we really need to worry about just yet at this point in the season. We had spoken, I think, previously about maybe rotating Olsen out of certain Champions League games. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. We are undefeated with this side. When we rotated in some of our reserve players against Man City, we didn't create all that much, albeit it is Man City. They're very, very good. But I think we take faith with them, at least in this early part of the season. Maybe if this isn't a good result, maybe then we have a look at some changes we can make. Roma playing a 4-2-3-1 because every big team in Football Manager 2020 plays a 4-2-3-1. That's just, every weekend when you watch the Premier League, they all play the same formation. So why wouldn't the video game be exactly the same? But they do have some good players, Roma. They've done okay in the last few seasons. Tenconi leads the line for them. Alberto Tenconi, 44 cap, Italian international. He was previously at Tottenham back in the day. Only made 1 appearance though. He was at Lille for a bit. He's been at Roma now for 7 seasons, 74 goals in 198 appearances. Isn't too bad at all. He's solid, but not super spectacular. His mental attributes are probably the most impressive portion. Physically, he's all right. Technically, he's all right. He will probably now score a hat-trick because I've just called him okay. Yarden Kidrian is their top goal scorer. He's playing over on the left wing. Israeli left winger, whose name rings a bell. 3-star current and potential ability. Nothing too terrifying jumping out at me. He'll play as an inside forward on that side. They've got a G Martinelli, but it's not the Arsenal player that you're thinking of. It is Gianpiero Martinelli, Italian international, 12 caps, 3 goals to his name for the 29-year-old Messiah. He will be an interesting one to watch. 4-star current and potential ability. He looks to be a decent prospect with 350 appearances for Roma throughout his career. He's a Roma regen as well. He was out on loan at Bari and SCR Altash, wherever that is, early on in his career, but he looks to have performed quite well. They've got Joseph Parody here, who they've purchased from Sampdoria 7 seasons ago. He's been at Roma for quite a while. Again, full Italian international, 29 caps to his name. Very impressive stuff, and he will play alongside Benjamin Deitch at the back. Their Austrian captain, 30-year-old defender. Was at Red Bull Salzburg, was at Manchester City for a little while. Has been at Roma now for the last 4 seasons. Still looks quality, 4-star current and potential ability. I'd expect him to have some talent. Assertively, we're going to say Midi have given a lot of credit lately because that just consistently gets positive responses, and we might switch this over to show us the Champions League results as well. We'll keep one eye on the results in the other game in this division, but in reality, we really want to try and get 3 points and kind of assert our dominance over the other teams in the group. Long ball forward here into midfield. Taylor's got possession in the first highlighted game inside 90 seconds. Headed clearance by Flavio Antonio isn't great. Lucas Gabriel's found on the overlap. Backstick ball towards Harold, and he does get to the header first, but it looked like it was a little bit high and a little bit wide of that near post. Esteban with a deep free kick towards Carlos Andre. Ball over the top for Olsen to try and chase, but it's recovered well by the Roma defence. Flavio Antonio, who I think is ex-Leeds. We might go and have a look at that in a moment. Lovely reverse pass there to Kidrian from Tenconi. It's a great save from Mancini keeping us in it. Carlos Andre gets it out and clears. They've got a highlight here from a throw-in though. Martinelli at the base of midfield. Looks to play in Martinez on the right-hand side. He keeps it in quite well. Harold recovers though. Looks to clear it up the line, but again gives it straight back to the Roman midfield. They're very willing to switch the play, which is always interesting to see with AI teams. Martinelli gets a good strike out. Mancini does need 2 chances to try and scramble, but he does make the first save and then gets down to smother the ball on the second. Throw in left-hand side, Carlos Andre to take. Martinez in possession for us. So there's two Martinez's on the pitch. Ours is the one that I was talking about there. Tanconi with a flick-on header from the long clearance. Esteban should cover and should provide some guidance. Kidrian looked like maybe fouled Lucas Gabriel as he went for the ball there, but they've found Tanconi in behind, and he's gotten goal side. Plays it back to Kidrian. Now Flavio Antonio. Martinelli into Bizguera Mendiola, I think that name was. Parody immediately cuts inside. I wonder if he's an inverted wing back. Martinez, back to Parody again. Just stand him up, boys. Don't do anything silly. Taylor tracks him very nicely and recovers the ball in a good spot. Henri, now to Harold, now Esteban. Carlos Andre sends one over the top for Olsen to chase. He's got the pace to get away from a man, but the finish just lets him down. The English wonder kid put it straight at the keeper. And now Martinez has sent Tanconi in behind, going the opposite directions. End-to-end stuff here at the moment. Gasmi recovers. Mancini goes long. Flavio Antonio keeps it in. Mendiola switches it out to Parody. Just stand him up, boys. Square ball towards back stick. Martinelli's poked it home. That was end-to-end stuff. I really thought there were 3 or 4 different points where that highlight was about to come to an end. But it finishes with a Roma goal, and they take a 1-goal advantage in the Italian capital. We're not going to watch the 3D replay. We're going to hit demand more immediately. Nothing more frustrating than giving away an early goal, and to go a goal down away from home in the first 15 minutes isn't ideal. But we are through 30 minutes now as well, so we have stifled some of their creative play. We're going to use the Get Creative shout. And we do have a corner here. Gabriel to take towards Esteban. Wasn't far away. Diaz, the Roma goalkeeper, gets across, saves and holds quite well. We've got one man forward on the right-hand side and a couple joining now from midfield. Long ball forward towards Tanconi. Flicked on expertly to Kidrian, who stays goal side, and Mancini with an excellent save. I don't know why Lucas Gabriel was the player that got dragged to the headed challenge there. He's not the tallest bloke in the world. 2 minutes of additional time to be added on. Kidrian with the corner. Morello with the ball back across, and they've flipped the crossbar now, so Roma might be taking in a little bit of ascendancy here as the highlights come to an end in the first half. 9 shots, 7 on target, 59% possession for Roma. 9 shots, 6 on target, 41% for Isle of Man. I'm going to aggressively say, show me something else, and then we're also going to mix it up. We're going to go to our positive structure. Play a little bit deeper, invite a little bit more pressure, but hopefully leave a bit more space in behind for the counter-attack. And a 1-0 defeat doesn't kill us, but it definitely makes it tougher to try and finish top of the group. I don't think we're guilty of taking Roma lightly, but they have played pretty well, it must be said, in the game thus far. And we're immediately through the 60-minute mark. I'm going to check Flavio Antonio. He's picked up a knock. Where do I know that name from? Maybe he was a previous wonder kid that we tried to bring in. Looks like he's been at Roma for quite a while. £17.25 million transfer from Santos 5 seasons ago. And he looks to be a decent prospect as well. We are now going to make some subs of our own. Castro hasn't played particularly well. We'll give him a spell. Richard can come on. Martinez hasn't played particularly well. We'll give Uli Schaefer some time. And you know what? I'm going to take off Max Olsen as well. We're really going to roll the dice here. I'm going to switch back to attacking because we haven't had any highlights for either side in the second half. I'm going to make 3 subs, and we're going to use Old Faithful, a Get Creative shout, after an hour, just to try and inspire everybody. Can we create something? Some sort of equaliser. Esteban, long ball forward is poor. It's going to be given straight back to Mendiola in midfield. The Roman Martinez cuts in from the right onto the left. Flavio Antonio still on the pitch. It's pinballed around. He's forced a good save out of Mancini. And Alberto Tanconi, his second goal of the season. See, this is the frustrating part. We've played tremendously well so far this season. And again, like, we reload the game, and for whatever reason, just any form that you had prior to that session starting goes absolutely out the window. And Mancini, to be fair, he's made a couple of good saves, and Roma have had highlights. I'm not trying to discredit Roma. The frustration is just the way that I play the game sometimes, the way that we save, reload to record our episodes each day, and then all of a sudden, everything that was working yesterday doesn't work any longer today. Parody with the throw-in on the right-hand side for Roma. If they make it 3, it's going to be very dispirited. I don't know what the word is. Henri Rivera, good reverse pass to Schaefer. Can he find the finish? It's a poor effort, it must be said, from the big German. Just wild shot beyond the far post. We do have one more sub up our sleeve as well. No, we don't. I've just remembered, in one ear out the other. I've gone a little bit like a goldfish today. Things that I did literally 2 seconds ago, I've already forgotten. So we're just going to use a demand more shout, I guess, and hope that maybe it's one of those jammy FM games where a team scores 3 goals in injury time. I don't think that's happening on the balance of play, but 3 minutes to be added on. There was a brief highlight there that flashed up for a second. We don't get to see what it was. Richards won the ball back in a good area. 93rd minute, into the last minute of additional time. What can Richard do? Wide area. Pecorella with a good challenge. Puts it out for a throw-in. Was that the highlight? Gabriel's going to take the resulting throw-in. We're going to create something late on. Henri to Gabriel towards Schaefer. Flick on header straight at Diaz, who, to be fair, has had a very good game. Ball forward to Colliardi. There's a big gap in midfield that he drives in towards. Reverse pass to Parody, who's still getting forward late into injury time. Long one forward towards Schaefer, and the referee calls full time. It's a 2-0 defeat. When was the last episode we had where we had a 0-0 draw and a 2-0 defeat? It'd be going back a couple of seasons, I would think. I'm going to aggressively say I expect to see you all in training tomorrow. You don't deserve a rest after that performance. And fair enough too, I think. We've only got 2 days to try and pick ourselves up before the game against Southampton. And I wonder what that's going to do to the rest of the group stages. Nims won the game against Red Star. Red Star 1-0 in the end. We put 9 past Red Star, but Nims could only manage 1. It's going to make it very interesting in the group stage because I think we also play Roma as the last team in our group. And you know what? Looking forward, I think that might be the game that we try and bring you guys tomorrow. I think we might come back, do the game against Roma. We've got Manchester United as well, which is a huge, huge match. Potentially we bring you guys that game. And then there's no rest for the wicked at all. We immediately go into games against Liverpool and Manchester City, which could be huge for the overall makeup of the season. And we haven't done a Christmas episode in forever. Maybe that's something that we look to do to close out the week. But as always, you guys will have to tune in to see how we get on in those games. So I'll tell you what, like the first real double upload day that we've done in quite a while, and the results have been shit, so maybe we won't do that. Maybe we'll just go back to the old formula of daily videos because I want to win and I want to get 6 trophies in a season, and if we don't win the Champions League this season, that becomes very unlikely that it actually happens. We've probably got maybe this season and maybe another 2 that we can get through in terms of our weekly schedule before Football Manager 2021 comes out. But speaking of Football Manager 2021, there are some very exciting videos taking place throughout the channel this week. Make sure to tune in over the weekend to see like some different competitions. You might be able to win a copy of Football Manager 2021. Who knows? We'll figure that out as we go. But really, more than anything, I just appreciate your continued support on the series and on the channel. It has been fantastic throughout the year, and it has been fantastic even now, getting very late into the FM20 cycle. As always, thank you so much for watching. That's the part I appreciate the most. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the next episode.